Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Crystal, and you're just chilling with JK. We are a married couple
with 3 beautiful kids
from Brooklyn, New York. Come chill as we discuss
whatever the we want.
We are back with another episode.
Yeah. You gotta leave space for me for my ad-libs, man. I'm the Migos out here, me. Chill.
I'm trying not to hear ad-libs.
Alright. We the rap crew. What up, baby? We back on the block. Let's do it.
We are back with another episode.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
We are discussing toxic behaviors.
Very toxic.
How did we get over them so we could have a healthy relationship
and a healthy marriage? So we're going to go through this like this. My wife is about to hit you with the top 3 that almost fucked up our relationship. Okay. And then we're going to go through what the hell I did. And then from there, yeah, we're just going to continue the conversation. So, okay, go ahead.
We jump into it. Please remember, no one should tolerate toxic energy. Mm-hmm. And going over these experiences has also triggered me because I am so far removed from these situations that us going over them made me basically feel what Jeffrey would probably be feeling back then. Mm-hmm. And, realizing like, wow, like this was not okay, and not having to insert my own feelings into it, like how we experienced it, at that time. So I can really, truly see how he felt and just be like, dang, like, why did I do that? I hurt him so bad. It made me very emotional.
Yeah, you were emotional while we were trying to dissect this episode, but it is what it is. Would I have changed anything? No, because obviously I gave you a chance to grow. And,
yeah, I love that part that you said. We were talking more about it in the bathroom, and he said it kind of it also made him see how far I've come from the beginning of our early relationship to now. And it also, it was a thing that you said. You were like, I think I'm just here on earth to, is it on earth? Was it on earth you said? Well, what did you say?
It was more so like being a guide, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
To help me become the person I'm supposed to be. Like,
yeah,
God sent you here. So, and it was something like that because it was just like, wow, that is so beautiful.
Yeah, I'm so poetic with the freestyles.
No, but it made sense because you helped me become the person that I am, you know? So, yeah.
Damn ambulance.
But also you said, don't let them, make sure that we let them know that
I ain't good. I ain't good too, so you already know.
But you learned it beforehand. Yeah,
I learned it before I got into our relationship, but definitely past relationship. I was good. I wasn't a terrible boyfriend, but I had my shallow ways. Like I took care of her, I cared for her, did all the things that.
Oh, we'll get there. I'm going first. Remember?
Okay.
So, from previous relationships, being hurt and not wanting to get hurt again. So, Jeffrey and I met when I was 20. He was 18. Mm-hmm. And so, all of these relationships, it wasn't that many. It was like really 2 in high school. Being in a relationship and also like not wanting to be hurt again. So things that I would do would be talking on the phone with other guys and at that time, remember, there's no really like cell phones like we have now. It's just a Motorola or like the block phones.
Yeah.
talking
next
on
to
the
her.
house phone, right? So like if you're not available to call me or to pick up my phone call, up there you go, I'm calling some other guy, you know. And I think me not wanting to get hurt is why I did that. And so when we started our relationship, thinking you were like, obviously I know you weren't like these other guys, like because how everything just happened, it was just like so beautiful and natural. But you know, everyone's not perfect, so if we get mad at each other or something, for me that was my way of not feeling the hurt. But we also like started like little rules that would help us to learn from these experiences, such as like not being mad at each other, talking it through. You know, like for me, I never experienced that with a guy, right? And so I was just used to the guy either like disappearing, like meaning not talking to them for like weeks, and
damn.
then randomly, you know what I mean? Like that.
Random, hey, we still together.
Yeah, like so it was
that's
just
crazy.
random.
Yeah.
Having to rely on that person to really be in a relationship, then for me, bringing that into our relationship, you know, I just felt like, okay, well, if he disappeared, then something's going on. And so, you know what, for me not to get hurt, I'm going to text somebody else that I know likes me, but I don't like them. But it's just going to keep my mind
off
of
whatever he possibly doing. Yeah, I get it. And at that age, I figured that you're so young, and you need it, I guess, to do that for sure, to protect yourself, because your experience isn't then. But with me, on the other hand, I'm trying to think what probably would cause that, but
it wasn't like anything so dramatic. It was just so much. It was just more so like habitual, right? Like, you know that if a person didn't pick up your text or pick up your call, then I know what I'm already going to do because it's habit. I was doing it out of habit
versus
not so
being...
much. Yeah, like it could just be something random, like, oh, I was busy helping my mom, and I just, you know, like you're used to just like when you're doing something for your mom, you don't have your phone near you, and at the time, you know, phones aren't as addicting as it is now.
Today. Yeah.
So I don't know, like I'm just using that as an example,
right?
Yeah,
no, yeah.
So like, I don't know, like if it's something like that, or I was in the backyard, maybe that was one of them. I was in the backyard, I was playing basketball with my brothers, and and I just didn't have my phone, was in the attic, you know, like that. I remember that being excuses. Yeah,
because we were balling.
And and so like for me, it would be like, well, was he really playing ball? You know what I mean?
Or was he with another girl type thing?
So,
but that's past traumas that probably you need to get through.
And it wasn't really on you, it was just more so on me not thinking rational and not wanting to be hurt. And I think with us having conversations about like, well, this is not something that you should do, because if we're trying to be in this relationship, like we have to talk things through. You're upset, we got to talk.
Exactly.
And so I never had that before. And so I think us working that out so early on, you know, it led us to having healthier communications.
Exactly. And more trust in a way. So, yeah. So what's your number 2?
Another thing was like ignore all phone calls. So like kind of relaying back on that. Like it kind of, if you're not going to answer my calls, and I'm not going to answer your calls. Or like I'm not going to answer your texts, right? Because text wasn't that big yet, but it was happening. Because at the time I had a Motorola when I met you. And
I had to click number 7 4 times to get the letter S. The struggle kids nowadays won't have to deal with.
Oh my God. So like, just ignoring phone calls, like that's not good. And so like eventually I think we started doing things like call me when you get home, or like call me during lunch breaks. Like we started implementing moments in our day where it's not like we're going days without talking to each other if we couldn't see each other. Because at the time I was in school and we would meet, and then I would have work, right? And so we would meet only on Tuesdays because I didn't have school or work on that day or something like that. Or I had a break. I don't remember what it was. Yeah. But we would make sure we spend time with each other on Tuesdays. but that would be a whole week. So, or sometimes on the weekend you would pick me up sometimes, but like
that's when I got a car.
But for us to have like a longer time together would be Tuesdays. So in between all that time, we would make sure that we would communicate with each other. And I think us implementing those little moments, you know, helped our relationship as well to grow. Right?
Yeah. What's number 3?
Number 3 is trying to be friends with an ex. So for us, like in our relationship before marriage, obviously, well, it may not be obvious, but for us, obviously, you know, becoming friends with an ex isn't healthy. Or if you were already friends with an ex and then you met somebody and then they find out that it's an ex, it's not good. Because
it's definitely not. Because there's different levels to that relationship.
It is, because honestly, like, and I'm just going to use our experience. For us, like, yes, you have to get over whatever feelings you had for that person, and you may not know if you're really over that person, and so it's not good. Because one, you may have, like, I may have had good intentions to be friends. However, for you, you will always have that doubt of like, are they friends or are they more? And I think now being here, right, married with you and looking back at that situation, how uncomfortable you must have felt. Like, what do you mean you want to be friends with your ex? Like, no, that dude only wants to smash. Like, you
Pretty
thinking
much.
like in a guy mentality, right? And I'm looking at the naive younger me, and I'm just like, no, that's not what it's about. And going very hard that this is what I want it to be, so it's gonna be that. But we don't know what that other person's intention truly is, if it's to sabotage our relationship, or, you know. So it's like, would you ever be friends with your girlfriend's ex? Like, is that a thing? Like, no. So
y'all ain't got kids together, so ain't it. Even if y'all had kids together, it would just be like more
about the kids and
something cordial, where I'm like, I know y'all gotta interact with each other, so it is what it is.
But for us looking back, well, for me looking back, when we were discussing, you know, these topics, it made me, like, at the time I understood where you were coming from. Like, no, I don't think you guys should be friends. But you even thinking about allowing it, it just, now looking back at it, it's just like looking at it as like, yo, he really loved me back then. Like,
yeah, cause
with everything, like being like just patient and just like understanding, you know, being the person that person was to me. And you like, dang, like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to do it, because if I don't let her do it,
she's going to want to do it. She's going to want to do it no matter what. That's when you're going to want to do it even more. So I had to allow you to go and pretty much experience whatever that was, like that area, that space of whatever. I don't know what you felt at that time for that relationship, but I just had to be okay with that aspect, because if I would hold you back from doing it, there's no telling if we would be together today.
And just the fact that, like, when we were talking about it now in present day, and just realizing, like, wow, like, you were so mature for your age at that time, because it's like, I don't think a guy your age would have been like, no, I'm out. Like, they would have just been like, no, I'm out. But the fact
I had
that,
those
like,
thoughts.
You had like experiences from like your older brothers and stuff like that, it just added to you being very understanding, I guess, or also like just analyzing the situation and just coming to terms, like, it is what it is, I guess.
Okay.
But go
ahead.
But
finish.
for me now, I just felt like so sad. Like, present day, I felt so sad that I put you through that, you know. But also I had to grow from that, because I feel like you said, if we didn't go through what we went through, who knows if we would have made it to this point in our relationship, because anything else could have like tarnished it.
Exactly.
So
Any type of forceful covering up or anything like that, like it would have been an issue some sort of way. Somewhere down the line, it would have become more of an issue. So I was better off dealing with it at that time than to deal with it later on or something going on behind my back.
And just so you know, we did not become friends.
Yeah, nah, that shit didn't happen. I was like, yo,
we did not become friends.
Nip it in the bud. It ain't gonna work. Because after a while, I was just like, yeah, this ain't it. And she came to that clarity too. And yeah, back to what you were saying about me and my brothers. Because she listed her 3, so I might as well get into mine. And I would just say overall, like I was a big flirt, and I just
not in our relationship,
yeah,
or rather, I didn't experience you being flirtatious.
Yeah, like I just was that guy that had like I wouldn't say a rushful experience, but I experienced high school and college at the same time. And that means I went through high school during the week, and due to the fact that my brothers are like 4 years older than me, and they were in college at the same time, freshmen in college, while I was a freshman in high school, and being surrounded by them and their relationships and their experiences, and I was a big 14-year-old, I was able to get into clubs with them, and I was able to, maneuver the way they maneuver, because I held myself to a mature standard. And that's because of our experience, my experience with my brothers. With that being said, I experienced and done a lot between the ages of 14 and 18. It was like a fast pace of growing up to be a man. And that's where I've done a lot of flirting, a lot of shallow things where I was more concerned about a woman's fat ass, how they look, how they present. Well, all of those things still matter, but I kind of simmered down my shallow standards. But things that would be picky to me, like wearing weave, and damn, I'm about to get a beat down by women listening to this. Just chip nails, and your toes look a little funny, and like shit like that used to bother me. If you didn't upkeep yourself, that would throw me off. It was things like that really bothered me. I learned that all of those things don't matter. It's like really the person and what's deep down in the person's heart and intentions, and if you're willing to grow with the individual. So although I was prepared, me and Crystal's relationship, I had to wait for her journey to happen. And I guess through all of my shallow and toxic ways in my past relationships, I always thought of it as my karma. So
really?
Yeah.
You never told me that.
So I was just like, all right, maybe it's my karma, and then I have to dial it back and have understanding. And maybe she has to learn, through me, and allow her to trust me. You learn something new. That. You learn something new every day, right? Yeah, so that's why I feel like I was okay with you going through your trials and tribulations with all of the things that happened before. I just wanted you to grow and flourish to be the best you. It wasn't all about you. I can't say in those times it was all about you, or I was just okay with it.
I know you weren't okay.
It was more so having
an understanding and
understanding of those things, and like kind of correlating things of like, damn, all right, I may have made, my ex feel this way or something of that nature. So, yeah, that's all pretty much on my end, if I got it all out. But I know there's going to be questions, so if you have any questions, if you would like to leave a voice message, please check us out on anchor.fm/justchillinwithjk. And this damn house is hollow. My goodness. Y'all hearing everything in this house. But anyway, go ahead.
Listen, I want you guys to comment below. Are there any toxic traits that you have that you're still doing in your new relationships? Or have there been toxic things that you've done in your past that you've learned from and decided you're not going to bring it into your relationship? I feel like these are conversations that you should have before you enter a relationship.
What conversation?
Like, understanding that, like, when you get into a new relationship,
don't bring your toxic ways into this new relationship.
Or you may need to learn that you shouldn't have brought it in by you guys having the conversation similar to us.
Exactly.
So that's really what I'm saying. And also it made me realize, like, you really got to heal from your past relationships. But obviously I didn't have those types of conversations. I didn't have anyone to look up to as, relationship role models.
Exactly.
So.
Well, I was lucky enough to have that around because my brothers were in committed relationships as well.
And back in those days, there weren't no Instagrams for couple goals and stuff. It was like either magazines.
You're saying that that's a bad thing? It's actually a good thing.
No, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of resources out there right now for people to get. We're gonna wrap this up because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but this house is noisy tonight.
Wow.
But yeah, like I was saying that, back then we didn't have anything other than we didn't have any relationships to look. Well, I didn't have any relationships to look up to, and it wasn't like accessible like it is now to, like, get information. So I just want to know, how did you grow up with learning not to do toxic things in relationships, or are you still doing toxic stuff? Like I said before, like I asked you guys before. All right. And we are going to end it here. Talk to you soon, guys.
Oh my gosh. That was epic.
If you're not already, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Just Chillin' with JK and JK and Counting.